Hey Chem Kids, welcome back. I hope that you successfully completed the rules for significant figures video and the assignment. Now we're going to talk about how to do calculations with significant figures. And the first thing that we need to do with calculations is first we have to understand how to round things. So the rules of rounding. If the figure to be dropped is less than 5, you get rid of it. If the figure to be dropped is greater than or equal to 5, you eliminate it, and you raise the preceding figure by 1. So what does this mean? Round these off to the three significant figures. Okay, so 3 significant figures. So all non-zero numbers are significant. So this is significant, this is significant, and this is significant. And we want to keep it at 3 significant figures. Now that we have to round it. So we have to look at this number here, and we say that that's a 3. Well, 3 is less than 5, which means we're just going to get rid of it. So we can round this to 5.33. Now we look at this next one. Once again, the first 3 non-zero numbers, and they're all non-zero numbers, are going to be significant. So this one's significant, and this one's significant. Well, now we have to look at this 8. Well, if we look back at our rules, if the figure to be dropped is greater than or equal to 5, we want to raise the preceding figure by 1. So this is greater than or equal to 5, which means we're going to make this 7 into an 8. This now becomes 3.48. Let's look at 2, or part C, I guess. Our 2 is significant, our 5 is significant, and the second 5 is significant, which means now we have to look at this fifth 5 and say, well, is this number greater than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. And in that case, we're going to get rid of the 5, and we're going to bump this 5 here up to a 6. So this number will become 2.56. And finally, our last one here, we want to round it to 3 significant figures. This is significant, this is significant, and this is significant, which means we're going to look at this guy. That's a 2. Well, in this case, the 2 is less than 5, which means we would eliminate it. But what about these two numbers? Well, we're just going to eliminate those numbers too. So this whole number we could just rewrite as 34,500. And if you remember back to our rules of significant figures, as long as there's no decimal place, zeros that come after the number don't count as being significant. So in this case, this number would still only have 3 significant figures, which is exactly what we wanted to have. So now the rules for adding and subtracting. Whenever we add and subtract using significant figures, we have to do things a little differently than we would normally. Basically, our answer is going to have the same number of digits to the right of the decimal place as the measurement with the smallest number of digits to the right of the decimal place. So basically, you look for whichever number has the least number of decimal places after that, and that's how many decimal places your answer will go to. So some examples of this is, let's say we have 2.3 plus 10.44. Well, we're adding, so we know that we have to choose the number with the smallest number of decimal places, which in this case is going to be 2.3. Well, first we add our number together and we get 12.47. Well, we know we have to round it to 1 decimal place, our smallest number of decimal places. So in this case, we have to round this to 1 decimal place. So we look at the one right before our second decimal place. Well, that's a 4. Because it's less than 5, we're going to eliminate it, and our final answer becomes 12.7. Another example is, let's say we have 1.02 minus 0.0054. Well, if we just do that math, we get 1.0146. But now we have to round for significant figures, and the smallest number of decimal places in this case is going to be 2, which means we're going to want to round our number to 2 decimal places. That means we're going to go out to our third, circle our third, and we're going to look at that number. We're going to use our rules for rounding. Because it's less than 5, we're just going to eliminate everything behind it, and our final answer becomes 1.01. Now I want you to go ahead and take a small break and work on some of the problems that we have for you about adding and subtracting numbers. Once again, go ahead and click that little next button at the very bottom of your Canvas screen, and that'll take you over to the assignment for adding and subtracting significant figures. And I want you to go ahead and work with your group and fill out the chart on adding and subtracting significant figures. If you need help, just feel free to call for me or, pop back into the main session and come have me join your breakout room.